Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This is Falls from Iron. I am Gatesy. I'm very lucky enough to be joined on this episode of Hammers Shocks, which is controversial thoughts and opinions from West Ham supporters. I'm very lucky enough to be joined by Andy Miles. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. It would have been
Good.
better if Southampton held on a bit longer.
That was the full-time result, gentlemen, I'm afraid. Yeah, Premier League.
Yeah,
it was the Haringey Cox 2, Southampton 1. What can you do?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Look, to be fair, away from home 2-1, I think they've done well against a former European Super League team.
Yeah, one of the
European
greats.
All those legends.
Yeah.
All those undeniably world-class players.
Did you see all the thousands protesting?
Oh, they were going mad, weren't they?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Terrible. And also we got Cal. How are you, sir?
Surviving, Gatesy.
Sounds like you're a little bit weary there, mate. We've also got James from the Anvil. How are you?
I'm good.
Good man yourself. And Irish Tommy, and we've also, I'll bring him in a sec. How are you, Tommy? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, sun is shining here. It was a beautiful, warm day. Thank God, we finally got one. We needed it. So hopefully this is the spring arriving in earnest. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm good.
Good. I'm just going to bring him in because he's just arrived in the green room. It's the man himself, Mr. Fever. How are you?
All good, man. All good. Looking forward to this tonight. So at least I'm not in Primark this week. That's good news. That's good.
You don't know the half of it yet, James.
I know, mate.
Good.
I know.
All good. Right. We're going to start off. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat. We got Scott's in the building. How you doing, Scott? All good. So we're going to start with Mr. Miles. So we've had West Ham Online, who sadly can't make it tonight. He sent out, it's the usual format. He sent out on his Instagram request for people, West Ham fans, to give their opinions that may be a little bit less popular, a little bit more controversial for us to discuss on this stream. So, Milesy, you've had a little bit of a chance to go through some of the comments, and there's one in particular that's caught your attention, I believe.
Yeah, it's to do with Fabianski. This may cause a few things. I'm not just bringing it up because of a couple of mistakes what he done against Newcastle. I've said it over the past few weeks. I remember, in my opinion, Fabianski needs to be replaced or get someone in the summer to challenge him for the number one spot. Because if he gets injured again, I don't have faith with anyone else. I know we've been linked, and it's come out again with Areola and Johnson on who it was, but we need to just act fast. As soon as this window opens, we need to get a goalkeeper in my opinion. I don't know about you guys.
It needs to be done. We need a backup goalkeeper, yeah, for sure.
Have you got anyone in mind yourself, James? Have you got anyone that you think?
I do. Sam Johnston, because this is a little bit biased because I used to be a season ticket holder at Doncaster. Sam Johnston actually played out at Doncaster on loan when he was about 21 years old. What I can tell you is that he was the best goalkeeper I've seen in a Doncaster shirt because of how flexible and how agile he was. And I think, he's a good goalkeeper. He won't want to stay in the Championship. I don't think that is in the Premier League. Let's get him. 7 million apparently is what he's worth. It's pennies, so we can get him for that. Surely.
I hope so.
Tommy, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything was said there. We know Fabianski's not getting any younger. He is coming towards the end of his career. And this has nothing to do with him having his howler against Newcastle. I think overall, since he signed, he's been excellent. And I would still have a lot of faith in him. But I think it's time now that we really start thinking about who's going to be taking over for him, and it certainly won't be Darren Randolph or David Martin or anyone like that. As regards the likes of Anang, I have no idea because I just don't see enough of them to be able to judge them. You know, you'd have to be able to see them kind of in training regularly, or see them playing games when they're out on loan regularly before you could make any kind of judgment on them. But I don't imagine David Moyes sees any of those as an instant successor to Fabianski. I don't imagine. I think if we're to replace Fabianski, it would be with an outside keeper that we buy. So yeah, and I think it is the time. I think it's definitely the time. Oh, fuck off, Wayne. It's only because you're pissed drunk and you can't understand anything. But yeah, I think this summer we have to get someone in who, at the very least, can challenge him for the shirt.
I agree, Tommy, and I think we could. Randolph's proved it in the Championship. We could also use Randolph as a sweetener for him as well. West Brom.
True. Cal, your thoughts?
Yeah. So.
I don't think you could use Randolph now. That lad looks like he needs a hip replacement. He can't even kick a ball. Anytime he gets on, he needs some bloody Craig Dawson to punt the ball up from. Like, I do agree. It's come to that time we do need someone, but I wouldn't be disappointed with having Fabianski as sort of the number one next season if we weren't to get someone. But if the rumors are true that someone like Sam Johnson's available for that kind of price, I would definitely take him. He's proven himself to be good enough, and if it is that price, he has Will Salthouse as his agent as well, which is very handy as our sporting director or whatever we want to call him. But
that explains the link.
Yeah, exactly. If the price is true, he's definitely worth it. But if it is something like 15 to 20 million, I'd go for someone like Areola over him. I think he's better overall, especially if you're going to be paying the 15 to 20, which I think Sam Johnson's worth. I think Areola's better if he's worth a similar enough price.
They're both the same age.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Mr. Fever, give me your thoughts. I think I know them.
One's played for Doncaster, one's played for PSG and Real Madrid. Now take your pick. Which one would you choose? I like Areola. I've done. I think he's a top class keeper. I watched him the other day against Arsenal, and some of the saves he was pulling out was top draw. £7.5 million for Johnson's a bargain. I won't lie. If like Cathal said, if it comes to 15, 20 million for either Areola or Johnson, I know I'll be going for. What Wayne's saying about Trott's not good enough, mate. Trott's not good enough, and I agree with Anang, not good enough. I've seen him over Dagenham and Redbridge, seen him for the under-23s. They play over there. And these people need to go out on loan for me, mate. They're just not good enough, in my opinion. They're nowhere near the starting lineup for West Ham United, and that is being just blatantly honest. So if you get Johnson for 7.5 million, you've got a bargain there. But if I had the choice between the two, I'd have Areola.
Yeah, just to answer the Nathan Trott question, because it was asked by Wayne, I don't have a clue. I haven't seen him play at any kind of a decent level for any team, run of games. I have literally nothing to go on.
What age is he now? Is he near 22 or 23 at this stage?
He played for Wimbledon on loan. He played for Wimbledon on loan, and he won't put up any trees. But from
he seems a bit skinny for me. He seems a bit sort of light, small.
Yeah,
the sort of I think.
FA Cup won it. It's Doncaster game. He didn't really do anything then.
No, he didn't have anything to do, really, did he?
Yeah, he didn't. It was 4-0 by him.
Yeah.
But
it says it all when we got. Yeah,
the only worry with Areola, the only worry for me with Areola is that every game I'd just be worried he'd make a tit of himself.
Oh dear. Tommy.
Couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
You naughty boy.
There are children watching.
They won't understand it. Don't worry.
It went completely over their heads. Yeah.
But
it went completely over their heads. Yeah.
But went over my head, in all fairness.
I'll talk to you after the stream.
I'll explain after.
But there is another one, is a Hungarian one who X mentions on his podcast quite regularly. I think he's like 16. Like they've got high ratings of him, but he's just going by what they've said in the youth, and he's performing well. But like you said, he needs to go out.
He's 16. He's 16 though.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's like the best thing. I'm only going by what I've been told. I'm not saying an expert, but it's nice to know that they've got
one thing we can't do. One thing we cannot do on the goalkeeper front is go and get another Roberto. Like, let's get that sort of course. Let's get that category clear. Like, we can't go and sod about.
Is there another Roberto out there, James?
Yeah, I know, but
there's not another one.
But knowing us, we'd probably go and sign
I heard
someone.
the McNightmares on a free Gatesy.
And it'd be back to something Andy said a couple of weeks ago. He said about a goalkeeper at Man City, Zach Steffen. Very good. Yeah, I think that's a very doable one. But we're going to have to pay the money. He's young. He's playing for City as number 2. If someone said to us right now, would you go and pay the money to go and get Zach Steffen, who's a USA international? I would, like, personally. But it's again, it all goes back to the ball, doesn't it?
Well, played in Champions League.
Yeah.
We've also been linked with that Lazio goalkeeper. Thinking about it, we've been linked with what's it called? Stras Soccer. It's Albanian.
Okay, haven't seen that one.
His name's come up. I haven't seen a lot about him. He has good reviews in Serie A.
Yeah, not a player I'm familiar with. Has anybody else other than James heard of this guy?
No.
I think I said his name wrong.
Not a problem. Don't worry. Okay, next one, Tommy. You've got one that's particularly got your attention, I believe.
Yeah, there was. Here we go, James. Okay, it was the one about Ben. It was the one about Benrahma.
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it, James.
Yeah.
Let's dance. Okay, it was the one about Benrahma.
Here we go.
Now, this is not actually a reflection on Benrahma, by the way. This is about the comment itself, which was a bit silly, in my opinion. The comment was that all Benrahma needs is freedom and confidence, as if you can get them in a bottle, like they're pills or some fucking thing. Like, you just ask the physio before the game, David Moyes rattles over and says, just give Saeed a couple of pills there. I think freedom and confidence should do it. Yeah, we should get a tune out of him today. It's a nothing statement. It doesn't mean anything. So this thing, freedom. Now, freedom, presumably, he would just give him a free roll to go wherever he likes. I don't think that's going to fly with David Moyes, because he has a certain system. He has his tactics, the way he likes players to do things, and I'm sure every player that goes on the pitch for David Moyes knows exactly what's required of them. So I don't think a free roll would necessarily be good for him. Even you say it sounds good when you say about these, attacking players who have flair. Oh, just give them a free roll, let them do what they like, because it sounds like it should work, but it very often doesn't work out when you do that with players. They can tend to be a bit lost. So the other thing is give him confidence. I'm not sure even what that means. The only way you get confidence is by really being out on the pitch, playing games, playing well, getting assists and goals. That's the only thing that will give Benrahma confidence, is actually getting games, being picked for games, going out and playing well when he is picked. And then that's what will give him confidence, because confidence, you can't give people confidence. I think people have to feel it. It has to be within. You have to feel confident within yourself. So I think game time is the only thing. Now, I really like Benrahma. I think he's incredibly talented, and has an unbelievable skill. And I would have actually started him at Newcastle. To be honest, I would have played a 4-2-3-1.
Stop lying, Tommy. You wouldn't have started.
No, I would have started Benrahma. I would have started him at Newcastle. No problem whatsoever. Because I think in certain games it's right to start him. So no, I just think it's a flippant statement. It doesn't really mean anything. I think, I think Benrahma, more than anything, I don't see him on the training ground. Presumably his work ethic is fine. There doesn't seem to be any attitude problems. I'm sure he's perfectly fine with the rest of the squad, and I'm sure Moyes doesn't have anything against him personally. I just think there are times when I watch him when he comes on where I just think he doesn't quite grasp the nettle. sometimes when he comes on, because I think when a manager brings you on, particularly in the situation we were in away at Newcastle, I think the manager kind of really wants to see, okay, just do something. Can you do something here that will really help us and really maybe turn things around? And I think maybe he hasn't grasped the nettle just enough yet for Moyes to say, okay, this is a player I think now I can start every game.
Mr. Fitz, over to you.
The freedom one, I agree with Tommy on, but the confidence one, Moyes hasn't given him a lot of confidence, in my opinion. Like, let's be honest, he's only started 12 from the start. So, he started against Arsenal when we played really well, and he hasn't started since. So, there's a bit of an issue with the freedom one. I can sort of grasp. I can understand. I agree with Tommy on that. But the confidence one, if anyone says that he's been given confidence and Aston Villa are 1-0 up, just to let everyone know, is unbelievable. He hasn't. It's definitely 1-0 up Villa. I don't believe.
Oh, my bad.
I don't believe that he's been given the confidence that he's duly worth. Do you know what I mean? He come on Saturday. He's on. We're down to 10 men, and people are expecting him to turn into Prime Messi and run rings around people and start doing things the last 3 games he's played 12 minutes against Leicester, 8 minutes against Wolves, and he come on the 75th minute against Newcastle. Now, as he's supposed to get confidence from that? And against Newcastle, what can he do? He's trying his best. Everyone's trying to run around. They get back to 2-2, and then we can't defend. So.
Here's the problem, James. Can I just say something, James? Here's the issue Benrahma has. He's trying to dislodge players that Moyes already likes and trusts, and who have already established themselves in the first team. So, for him to dislodge Lingard, for example, would be almost impossible now. The way Lingard's playing, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on Lingard. Yeah,
Fornells has established himself as a starter under David Moyes. Moyes likes him, he trusts him, he plays him when almost always, unless he has maybe a big dip in form or something, and he thinks he needs to rest or whatever. But Moyes trusts him, likes him, and plays him. Same with Bowen. He's earned the trust of Moyes, and Moyes just likes him and tends to play him. Sometimes when he shouldn't, I have to say.
He also has our most goal contributions as well.
One of Moyes' problems sometimes is he sometimes sticks with players a little bit too long if the form isn't great. Because that's just the way Moyes is. I think he's very loyal. So the problem Benrahma has is, I agree with you, James. He almost has to have a kind of a massive impact, when he comes on to really force his way into a starting 11. He kind of almost has to wow David Moyes when he starts or when he comes on. And it's a difficult situation for him, and I don't doubt that. And I think in different circumstances, he probably would already be kind of starting every week at West Ham. If we didn't have one of those players in those attacking midfield positions that Moyes already really loves and trusts.
Well, there's a way of looking at that. It's basically saying, has Moyes given him any confidence? Because if you're playing a game against Arsenal, and let's be honest, the first half we was phenomenal. Second half we weren't so great, and he was part of that attack. And I thought he played well against Arsenal, and then after that he hasn't played any. He's only played half hour at best in the last 3 games.
It's a pecking order issue.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm just
whether
gonna,
it is the pecking order
jump in at this point, James, if I may, just before, because I'm mindful of the fact that Milesy needs to dash off somewhere, and he's just put a question in that he wants to ask in the private chat. So I'm going to let him ask this question before he has to dash off. So, Milesy, fire away, mate.
Where do you think Benrahma's best position is? Do you think it's on the left? Do you think it's in the number 10? Do you reckon maybe he could go out on the right?
I think he can play all of them.
No, but in what position? I know, but if you were Moyes, where do you think we'll get the most out of Benrahma?
Left for me.
Yeah, probably 100%. On the left with the 3. But it goes to the bigger question, which I was actually going to put to you, James. Obviously, look, you're a big fan of Benrahma, and you think he should be playing. So with everybody fit, let's say that the three across the attacking midfield would be Lingard, Fornells, and Bowen. Which one would you basically just drop who would not start games anymore to facilitate Benrahma?
I just don't see. This is my opinion, and West Ham Online sort of has seen it with me for the last couple of weeks. I don't see our Fornells. He runs around, he gets stuck in, but there's nothing there for me when it comes to Fornells. And I would look at it like this: I would have Antonio, Lingard as your number 10, Benrahma left, Bowen right. That's a front four. That's a frightening front four.
It's not our system though. It doesn't fit the system.
Yeah, I know, but the way I look at it is the best game this season was against Arsenal in that first half, and we completely destroyed that team with that 4.
Yeah,
now,
I think Fornells is one of our most important players.
I just don't see it. I don't get the hype.
See, guys, sorry, before I go, for me, Fornells only plays against the top 6 sides. When we're playing the teams below, I think Benrahma has to start. I believe Fornells is good where he's got the energy, can get stuck in and make a difference. But against the bottom half teams, and we're going to have more of the ball and more attacking, for me, Benrahma needs to start. That's my opinion on it as well.
Let me ask Andy this before he has to go. Right, if you're playing a cup final and you've got everyone's fit, what is your front 4? And it's a cup final, remember, against anyone.
It depends the opposition, James. I'm being honest.
If we're playing in the cup final, you're going to be playing a big team. You're very likely, and I 100% have Fornells in there.
I just don't. I don't know
why. For me,
yeah, go on.
For me, it would be out. If you were going to drop one against a top team, it would be out of Bowen. Bowen would be the next in line out of Fornells if you're playing a top side. Because in my opinion, I think Soufal's got enough to cover. But that's just my opinion, guys. And I'll be back shortly. I'm just going to review the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, James. Actually, like my preferred system for West Ham is the 4-2-3-1. Now I would play that in most games. It would only be against the kind of really good sides that are going to have a lot of the ball, where I would maybe switch to the wing-back system. So against most teams, I would play the 4-2-3-1. And what I wanted to happen when Declan Rice got injured was I hoped that Fornells would be dropped in beside Souček and that Benrahma would come in. And that's what I would have done. I would have dropped Fornells beside Souček, and I would have brought Benrahma into the team because I think, like you say, I agree. That is quite a frightening front 4 that you spoke about, James. And against most teams, and let's be honest, if you look at our record against the teams in the bottom half of the table, there's absolutely no reason you should be playing wing-back system against those teams, home or away. And I think with Souček and Fornells, I think they could form a very good partnership in the absence of Rice. And I think, like I said, James, that front 4 would absolutely terrorise teams in the bottom half.
I don't. It's this.
James, just a moment, because obviously you and Tommy have batted this back and forth for a little while now, and I'm mindful of the fact the other 2 chaps haven't really had a contribution in this one yet. So I'm going to move it on to James from the Anvil. Give me your thoughts on Benrahma.
I like him a lot. I think he's a quality player in terms of his technical ability and his vision. I think he's got massive potential. Does he suit our team? Definitely. I think he's definitely got a place in the team with attacking motif. But what I don't get is, I think if we were to start Benrahma and Lingard together, I'd support it. Because remember how they did in the first game, in that game against Aston Villa, they supported each other up and they made the midfield so technical. I made a video about it, like got 1,000 views, saying how they made it so technically gifted because they worked off well with each other. I think if you put Lingard and Fornells together, they work well. They work well together because they contributed really well for the goal. But Benrahma and Lingard would make it a little bit more interesting, I think, for teams. They'd make it a little bit more dominant in that area of the field. So I'd be in favour of a Lingard-Benrahma midfield duo. I've nothing against Benrahma, though. I think he's a cracking player. I don't necessarily think that Moyes hates him or anything like that. It's never really publicly said that, but I think Benrahma does deserve a little bit more of a chance right now, and he's just praying that Fornells screws it up badly.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see more of Benrahma. I think most fans would like to see more of Benrahma, but like I said earlier, I just think he's in a tricky spot now where Moyes has his established favourites and they're all ahead of him in the pecking order, so it's tough for him.
Can I just say something though? Like, because obviously, like I know Tommy was speaking, and obviously James spoke. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against Fornals, but this hard work myth, right? Yes, he does. He works hard. I'll give him his due. He runs around the pitch, he gets stuck in, he gets the ball, and he feeds it to the attackers. But as a number 10, I want to see him more goal contributions, being in the final third and at the end of things. I think he's only scored 3 or 4 goals this season. He's played about 29 games. Like, is that really like good for a number 10? Like, who's supposed to be an attacking threat more than just running around working hard.
I don't think he is a number 10.
I don't think he. Yeah, but see, I think he does exactly what Moyes wants and expects, and that's why he gets.
I have my thing of what I described for now is I'll get onto it whenever I'm talking about him or showing me this. I've said it multiple times. He's the middleman between the attack and the thing, because our defensive midfielders are in the box by the time. I think he's more of a midfielder, but it's just the way the formation looks on the sheet. He's positioned as an attacking midfielder, but when we're playing counter-attacking football. By the time our defensive midfielders or centre backs or right back or left back wins the ball, the whole back line and the defensive midfield line are around the box or the D, and he is the one sort of holding that middle area between the defense and the attacking mids. So he's that sort of middleman. He brings it there. He's not a full attacker and he's not a defender. He's that sort of out and out midfielder that will stick around that area. He'll get in. He'll do the dirty work.
Yeah, we basically put almost all of the burden on Fornals and Lingard to counterattack for us.
Yeah.
And Fornals has got no pace, so that's pointless. Really.
If we move, if we let, because obviously, Cal, you've yet to make a comment about Benrahma thus far, so over to you.
It's a tough one, as everyone said. We'd all love to see him play. I don't know if we're going to, especially with someone like even Yarmolenko coming back now to fitness. Moyes seemed to trust Yarmo a lot more when he was fit than he did Benrahma. He could be getting on ahead of Benrahma now. I don't agree with it, but that's just what could happen.
Lanzini's more or less back now as well, isn't he?
Exactly. There's two. We have two.
If Yarmolenko gets on the pitch in front of Benrahma, then there's an agenda against Benrahma. Yarmolenko.
But this is just me saying what I've seen whenever Benrahma was fit, and so was Yarmolenko. Moyes would have been playing Yarmo a lot of times ahead of Benrahma. When Lanzini comes back, they usually seem to be put on at the same time together, acting as if they're going to bloody bring all the goals. Like Benrahma's never proven it for us, and Lanzini hasn't proven it in 2 or 3 seasons that he brings anything goals wise, and he's bringing them on to sort of in them situations where we need the goals.
You might be right, Jim.
I'm reading that comment from Kent, and I respect Kent's opinion. He says, I think he does the job Moyes wants him to do between the lines, the water carrier. He's great engine on him. So what's Declan Rice there for then? What's Souček there for? Because they've got great engines.
They're in the box by the time they win it, you see. They can't just run the whole pitch. They need to have someone there to give it to.
I want me attacker to be attacking.
It's a 90-minute game. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know, but like, name me another time where you've looked at our attack. Right, I'll use the Arsenal game as an example because that's fresh. That's fresh. Yeah, that's only a month ago. We played a 4-2-3-1 system. Right, we can't be having 3 hard-working midfielders in our ranks and not going with 3 if we're going a 4-2-3-1. Because let's be honest, if Bowen goes out of form and if Lingard doesn't perform, then we've got no attack. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand this hard working thing. We've got Souček, we've got Kafal, we've got Rice, we've got they all work hard.
There's also the opposite side of it is whenever the whole team performs shit. Like Fornals got slated so much by people talking about him on social media and everything on after the Newcastle game. when he was no worse than anyone else. It's just he didn't get a penalty. He didn't get a penalty to take and score, and he didn't put in a cross that someone ended up putting in the back of the net. He was as good as the rest of them.
Yeah, but the difference with that, and I will say this, is at half time there should have been a sub, and Fornals or Noble should have been off. But
It should have been Noble. It shouldn't have been.
Yeah,
Fornals should have went to the Noble position, and Benrahma should have been on. I agree there.
And it just seems like when you're chasing a goal, like you've got a player on the bench who can make a difference, and he comes on for 15 minutes, and we're all expecting Benrahma to turn into a world beater. Like it's his first season, isn't it? Like,
I'm not though. I'm not expecting it. It's other people who are, but I wouldn't say I am. It's just
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what I think it is, James. I think when we signed him, people thought we were just signing this absolutely massive superstar, Dimitri Payet type player who was going to light up the Premier League and dazzle us all with these amazing skills and his assists and goals, and was going to be just incredible. And now what they're finding is that was a kind of ridiculous opinion to hold, given he's just coming up from the Championship. He's very inexperienced at Premier League level. And, there's going to be an adjustment period because it is a big step off in level. So I think people got a bit carried away with their expectations of Benrahma. And now they're finding, he's not this amazing world superstar that's making me jizz. And now they're criticizing him for it because their expectations in the first place were ridiculous.
Yeah. So, what's your opinion on him now, though? Like, considering the season's only 6 games away from finishing, like my opinion on Rahman, and I'll quickly say mine, is I think for what he's done from a starting position, he's only lost 1 game from playing from the start. And that's against Liverpool at home. The rest of the games that he started 12 games in all. He's won 7, drew 4, lost 1 game. So to me, when he starts, we look a completely different team going forward, threatening. So I can't knock. When I see people knocking him, saying he's not good enough, I don't understand their logic when they say, "Well, he's not good enough," but he started 12 games for us and he's only lost once from the starting position. So there you go.
I think
that's
he's
where we're going to end. I was going to say, well, I think we're going to end it there. I think we've batted this one round plenty enough. So we're going to move on now. James, from the Anvil, you've got something you want to discuss.
Yeah, I think just the whole Moyes effect on the team and the fact we're looking at a new West Ham. That's what I'm here to discuss. I think we've known about what we've called the West Ham way before, which people try to put into positive light. But the West Ham way for us has usually consisted of bottling it or losing it in comical ways in games, and that's when the West Ham way started to be mentioned a lot on Twitter. But Moyes wants to change that kind of thing. He wants the club to be a bit more tight with not leaking stuff, be a bit more tight in terms of its scouting and its overall recruitment, make that better. Try and get a West Ham that's got some long-term success, as he did with Everton. Remember how he came into Everton, he had very little budget, but he turned Everton into a powerhouse. Well, not a powerhouse, but a successful Premier League club in the 2000s. He did. Yeah. And that's what he's doing. West Ham is making the team punch above their weight. We're seeing a lot of graft from players now. We're seeing a lot of hard work from them. Everyone's working for each other right now, and Moyes is trying to build a team that can last for the future.
Okay, Carol, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we're certainly in the have the foundations of a new West Ham. That's something anyway. I don't think we'll ever make it as a new West Ham until we've a new sort of board in. Really, I think that's something that I think anyway. But we certainly have the foundations down. We've a good squad. They all play for the manager. We've a good manager, great backroom team. We have we have the perfect foundations down there. It's just will the ownership last with it?
Yeah. I'll just pick up on that. I think we're a new West Ham on the pitch, but the same old West Ham in the boardroom, unfortunately. So certainly, obviously, look, David Moyes has had a massive impact on the pitch. He's had a massive impact on the players. He's getting the best out of most of them. We're much better organised. We're just having a phenomenal season, and David Moyes is to be applauded. So certainly we're a totally different animal to the West Ham, say, under Pellegrini. So Moyes has done great. Very different team now on the pitch. But let's not forget, we still have the same people up in the boardroom who are perfectly capable of making a mess of everything. So yeah, we're still kind of there's still a double-edged sword, very nice and shiny on one side, but pretty rusty on the other. So it's a mixed bag for me. Is this a new West Ham? I suppose the answer is yes and no. What do you reckon, James?
I agree with you, mate. I do. I think this summer will decide it for me where we're going. I think if we sort of see the investment into the team and we start seeing some young, fresh players coming to the club, and I think we've done well this year. I can't say we haven't done well, but we have. But a lot of teams have done badly. Like we've done well, but a lot of other teams have done badly, like your Arsenals and
Liverpool,
etc. So where we are in the league, we're there on merit because we deserve to be there. So obviously, is this a new West Ham? It's an improved West Ham. I won't say this is a new thing because next season if we do it again next season, then I would say we're 100% new, and we're looking positive and fresh, basically.
Yeah, it's a small sample size, isn't it? Yeah.
That is the thing. And at the end of the day, I will say this is in the summer we will see how ambitious our owners are, whatever European competition we're in. And if they are ambitious and they go, you know what, they're not going to moan about £50,000 going to Everton for a League Cup game or going somewhere like in Europe, then I would say, we're a new improved side.
Yeah, and it would basically at this point really be kind of unforgivable not to back David Moyes in the transfer market this summer.
Yeah.
I mean, given what he's done this season, listen, if we qualify for Champions League, then obviously the board will release funds because the money will be there to do it from Champions League.
What do you think's a reasonable budget, though, Tommy? Given the situation, and if we get Champions League, what do you think's a reasonable budget, a ballpark minimum figure?
Well, given that he supposedly had 20-ish million to spend in the January transfer window that he didn't spend, that's already tucked away. So we're basically adding on to that. So if we make Champions League, I'd certainly like to see him spending in the region of 80 million. That's only you're only chucking another 60 on, and the Champions League money will more than make up for that. So he should have, if we make Champions League, he should have 80 million net 80 million spend in the summer.
If he gets 80 million, because I agree with you there, 80 million is about right. That's what I was thinking. If he gets 80 million, how many players can get in the door with an 80 million pound budget?
3 or 4 good players, maybe 5 or 6 sort of with 2 or 3 good ones, and then a few.
I think if we splash out on the forward, get a forward that we need
30 to 40 million.
That could be say 25 to 30 million, depending on who it is.
And Lingard as well. That's another one.
Yeah, and look, we're going to have to spend 20 to 25 on Lingard. So that's 2 players. So, and then there's sales. We might get rid of some players, which will kind of add to the kitty.
I don't think we have any sellable assets right now. Like anyone who's worth much money.
Not for big money, but
no one we're going to sell is worth anything.
Yeah, but listen, there are bargains to be had. Like Sofal cost 5 million, so it would be nice if we could grab a couple of bargains like that. But
hopefully ones that can shoot.
I would like to think with the 80 million we could get 4 or 5 very good players. But that, of course, would require us to spend wisely, and you just never know if that's going to happen or not. Listen, you could spend 80 million very, very wisely and get 6 tremendous players for it, or you could blow it on 3 absolute flops. It all comes down to how you spend it. Do we spend it? And all too often we haven't spent our money wisely.
Well,
But I think Moyes is likely to spend it wisely, doesn't he? Because you look at
Yeah.
I mean, Moyes is usually sort of
He
quite
didn't spend it in
canny
January
with
for a reason.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, if anyone I think is going to get maximum value for money out of it, it's certainly David Moyes. I mean, if we were still with Manuel Pellegrini at the helm, I'd be very concerned.
We'd have been relegated by then.
Here's where we messed up in January, in my opinion, because this striker situation was inevitable. When we didn't get a striker in January, I understand Moyes' position on the striker, where he couldn't get any of the strikers he really wanted, so he didn't want the board going and signing and spending money on a striker that he didn't want. I understand that. But
That's fine.
We made the Benrahma deal permanent so we could loan Lingard, and I'm absolutely fine with that. But we should also, at that time, have just spent the 2 or 3 million to make the Dawson loan permanent as well, and loaned in a striker, knowing that it was very, very likely we're going to need him before the end of the season.
You would have got the likes of Tammy Abraham on loan the way he hasn't been playing at all, and he's
we would have been able to get a half decent striker that could step in for Antonio on loan, and all we had to do was give Watford the 2 million or whatever it is they wanted.
Olivier Giroud.
Giroud was available.
Yeah, we're sitting in Chelsea.
So that to me was the biggest. That to me was a huge mistake. For the sake of 2 million for Dawson, you could have got a striker in on loan that could cover for Antonio. This was inevitable that Antonio was going to go down, and we'd have no strikers.
Yeah.
I'm just going to bring James from the Anvil in here, because we were discussing something a little bit earlier on, because there was news that's broke on Twitter, if it's to be believed, that there is a pre-contract agreement in place for the Besiktas striker Vincent Abubakar. Now, I know, James, you're quite excited by this guy, aren't you?
I'm not excited, but I do think. But my thing is, if we get him on a free and we get it in, it means that Moyes can then focus on spending on the striker that he wants. Then we have striker depth. The thing with Abubakar is he's got the physicality that Yakubu had. And remember, Moyes had Yakubu as his main striker at Everton. Similar thing with Abubakar. Sorry, I can't pronounce his name.
Is it Abubakar?
Yeah, something like that.
Abubakar, I don't know.
What's his first name?
Vincent.
That's it. That's what we call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Vincent.
Vinny, that'll do.
Do you remember that there was a guy at Everton that they signed? Billy Ledinov or something, and none of them could pronounce his name. And Everton had this brilliant chant. Everton had this brilliant chant for him, where they would sing his praises, and then instead of his name at the end, because they couldn't pronounce it, they just said Russian bloke, Russian bloke.
It wouldn't be like Scousers not to be able to pronounce his name.
Yeah, Billy Editonov, wasn't it, or something like that?
But he couldn't even understand him.
Yeah, Billy Oletinov.
Good job
for me to say.
Try learning English up there.
Now, James Fever, this is, because I know you've got a particular topic that you wanted to pick out, but you can't bring it up on your phone, so I've got it here. So the subject matter that you selected was Fornals is one of the most crucial player in the team, but I sense that you're not agreeing with that particular statement, are you?
No, not at all, mate. I don't know. I just don't get it.
I chose that as well, James, but I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I love Fornals.
I love him. He's class.
The floor is yours, Mr. Fever.
I just don't get the hype. He's a good player. He runs about. He gets stuck in. But if you take the work rate, away.
That's an insult.
Like there's nothing else there. There's nothing else there. You know?
He runs about as just an insult. It just is.
Tommy, it's my turn, mate. It's my turn, mate. You get to yours in a minute.
All right, I'll zip
No,
it
this-
and then you finish, and then I'll
No,
come in.
what I'm saying, I'll be short. I'll be short and sweet. But I just don't see the hype. I just think like they all run about. Suits runs about. Rice runs about. They all run about. I just look at it that like if he's playing as number 10, which people say he doesn't, but he does. He does go as a number 10, and he has done it. He has been in the number 10 position. He's not that creative in the final third, and he don't score as many goals in the final third. He's only scored like 4 goals or 3 goals this season out of about 29 games. So for me, I just don't see the hype. That's me.
De Bruyne has scored about 4 goals this year as well.
Who?
De Bruyne, he has like some players don't score the whole time. Doesn't mean they're not influencing the team.
Careful, do not ever compare Fornals to the De Bruyne, who's arguably the best player
comparing
in
them.
midfield,
I'm not
if not in
comparing
the
them.
world.
I think you're missing the point, James. Here's the thing. I actually agree that Fornals should have more goals because he does get into positions.
He loves a P-roller, doesn't he?
And gets set up for chances. His striking is not good, and it needs work. And he has missed some very good opportunities to score. And I really wish he would work on his finishing.
But he gets into them.
One of the criticisms I had of this team before we signed Lingard is that our attacking midfield 3 were not scoring goals, and for me that was a real problem. Bowen wasn't scoring, remember? When he was playing in there. So we had a problem with our attacking 3 midfielders not scoring goals. It was a problem. Lingard came in and kind of solved it almost overnight because we're banging him in every game and getting assists. So our amount of goals from attacking midfield increased dramatically. So I agree with you on the goal scoring, James. I think he should score more because his finishing is bad. But to dismiss him as just a player who just runs about a lot is insulting for what he brings to the team, in my opinion. I mean, he gets assists, by the way, and his passing is very, very good. I think he's a very clever, intelligent player, as he showed in the goal where he took the quick free kick and put Bowen in against Wolves. Or was it Leicester away? I can't remember. But Bowen scored a lovely goal.
It was Lingard who done that. Lingard done that.
This is the first game of the season.
This is before Lingard.
Game. Yeah.
This is So look, I think he's a very intelligent player. I think he threads things together very well. He's always looking for the ball. He gets on the ball a lot. His passing is very good. He's technically very good. He gets assists. So I think he's very important to the team, the way he knits things together. Technically very good. Yes, he lacks. If you wanted to make him the perfect player, you would give him pace and finishing. That's basically what he's missing. Doesn't have any pace, and he's not a good finisher. But I think he's vital to the team. I would play him in most games. There would be certain games. Yeah, there would be some games where tactically I might not start him. But that would be no reflection on his performances. I think he's tremendously important to the team, and I think the work he does both defensively and in attack is absolutely tireless. And when he hasn't been there, we have absolutely missed him. I think he's a really great player for us.
I don't get like all this hard working and all that. I want my players to be working hard regardless. Like I don't know about you,
they don't.
Lads, but when
they don't, Jay.
But
we all want that, but they don't. He does.
But that's the difference. That's the difference, though. Such is box to box. Rice is box to box. Fornals works hard.
Fornals is box to box as an attacker.
Yeah, no, but you can't have it both ways, then, can you? Like you just said to me, comparing him to Kevin De Bruyne. I'll tell you, I will compare him to John McGinn.
I wasn't comparing him to.
If you're going to compare him to,
he wasn't saying he's as good as.
No, what I'm saying is, if you're going to compare,
he's saying you can't just judge him on goals.
You can have an impact for your team without just scoring the goals.
You can have a huge impact without being a.
If you're going to compare him from player to player, right? Compare him to John McGinn. That's a player that I would say that I would compare him to. Don't score many goals, hard working, get stuck in, good on the ball.
John McGinn is very important to Villa as well.
Yeah, McGinn's supposedly worth 40 million.
John McGinn is vitally important to Villa. They play better with John McGinn on the park.
I look at it that if we lost 4-0, it wouldn't be the be all and end all because we just go and get another midfielder. I just don't see what he brings in the attacking third. Like
right. Well, at this point, I'm going to bring Cahill in because obviously Cahill, I know, is going to give an alternate point of view here. So Cahill,
I just
make the case
think
of the defense.
He brings the link-up play. He is that middleman that brings everything together. He's like the glue for it. We play better as a team with him. He gets back, he gets forward. Yeah, he's shite at shooting at times, but he gets into positions to score them. I know Benrahma hasn't had many minutes, but you want Benrahma to replace Fornals. But I don't remember a chance where Benrahma has been in a position to score. Fornals' problem is he gets in them too many and doesn't score.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Hang on.
I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah. There's been games this season where Benrahma might not have done much, but he takes people out of the game. Like he done it at Leeds away. He done it at Villa away. He done it at Palace away.
You want to talk about goals, James? How many has he got?
Yeah, but look at his stats from a starting position.
Yeah, no, you don't want to judge an attacking midfielder on goals.
I mean, he's played 25 minutes in 3 games, and you're telling me. And there's Pablo Fornals has probably paid about 300. Now, wait.
He's been in good positions, Cahill. He's been in good positions, James, and he's fluffed every shot he's taken. He is not a good striker of a ball. Sorry. If you think Benrahma's going to come in and start scoring, I just don't see it.
I just think he's crucial. When we've been without him, we're not as good as a unit. We're not that sort of. We don't have that sort of. You know how we're a horrible team to play against. We're lads who just we work hard. We're really well organized in the defense, and we're just constantly running. We're really fit. We're horrible to play against. I think Fornals completely adds to that. I think it's an extra midfielder. I think just because he's put as an attacking midfielder on the team sheet, that's not his role. He's as what is he, an inside left or something as they were called. He is that sort of extra man who comes in. What Stephen Pienaar was for Moyes. Moyes has his systems. He has his players that he's shown it in his previous jobs, and he's replicating that here.
He not only does what he does in an attacking sense for the team and knitting our play together when we have the ball, he's an absolute pain in the arse for opponents. He makes it harder for them to play. Makes it harder for them to play. He never stops closing down. That's important. Sorry, James. That's part of the game.
He stopped. Hold a minute. Not you, Tommy. It's not you.
Stopping opponents from playing.
Oh my god. Right. I can't keep hearing that he doesn't stop running. Right. That is as a professional footballer, and you're getting paid. Hold a minute. You're getting paid a lot of money per week. I want these people to run their fucking ass off for 90 plus minutes.
They don't, James.
Yeah, no.
You can want. I want De Bruyne to rock up for West Ham in a West Ham jersey tomorrow, but he won't. No, that's not how it works. We paid 40 million for Felipe Anderson. But so is expecting everyone to run. That's being diluted as well because it's not going to happen. We signed Felipe Anderson for 40 million and he lazed about and looked pissed off half the time. Fornals comes on.
I don't understand this. I'll tell you what. I don't understand this because the second half against Newcastle, Fornals was nowhere.
Where were the rest of them? They were all shite. Right. Lingard scored a penalty. That's all he did.
Hold on a minute.
He could have scored it.
Noble played all right against Newcastle, and I will back Noble up on that. And I'm one of Noble's biggest critics. Do you know what I mean? And Noble played all right. He done well. But it seems like with the Fornals debate, it seems like this man can't do no wrong. Like he can't do no wrong. Basically,
this has been really fun. I have to go. I'm sorry. Loved it, James, as always. Love being on with you, bud. Love having a Bernie with you over players. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on, Gatesy.
It's been very entertaining. Cheers, Tommy. Yeah. Thank you for making the time, mate.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Okay,
Be good,
man.
Take care.
I just don't get the hype. I just don't get the hype.
Okay, James from the Anvil. You've been sitting there very patiently, very quietly, listening to all the opinions flying around. Where do you sit on this argument? Oh, I think you're on mute, mate.
I was on mute. Yeah, my headphones died.
Yep.
Back and forth this whole thing. In regards to the Newcastle game, I would agree that Newcastle were better than us and that we didn't put in a shift. I mean, Noble did well. He's done since he came back into the team to replace Rice. He's done all right, But it's our defence that's where it's lacked. I think Ben Johnson. I know people say Ben Johnson's very young, and Ben Johnson's a very young player. I disagree. His crossing's all right, but it's some of his defensive aspects questionable. The only way he managed to get himself off the hook was when he cleared that shot off the goal line. Other than that, Ben Johnson didn't do it for me, so we need a backup left back in that sense. The thing is with the argument with Fornals is I've warmed to Fornals. I wasn't his biggest fan in his first season, but the thing is he's done a lot better this season, Fornals, because I do like the way he plays. No, they should not be compared. Thank you, Ken Ammers, because they're different players. One's a technically gifted player, one's just a solid attacking midfielder. Fornals is not like an engineer in the team. He's not like an engine in the system.
It's an apples and orange comparison.
So, work out Fornals.
I agree with that statement as well. They are completely different.
They are completely different, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're comparing apples to oranges with those two in a
but,
lot of ways, aren't
but
you?
he's saying he's not a worker, right? He's saying he's not a worker. Ben Rama rips teams apart, and he has done this season.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
Not you, no, not you, James. Right? That comment there from Ken, and I respect Ken, yeah. But I can go through them. I've got them all up here in the nut. Palace away, Villa away, Leeds home and away. That's 4 straight away. I can remember Everton away. Like, I don't get this worker-like thing. Ben Rama, when he gets the ball, something happens. When Fornals gets the ball, he passes it. He should pass it anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? But Fornals is not going to beat a man and go past people and drift out and all that. I just don't get the hype on him. I really don't. And people say about Ben Rama, I am praying that Ben Rama gets a goal before the end of the season.
They're different players. You agreed with that a second ago. He's not going to do that. They are different players. It's just he suits what Moyes is doing right now more. That's the issue. And I want Ben Rama to play. It's just I can't see him being put in ahead of Fornals.
Yeah, but let's have it right here, right now. Against the top 6, right, barring Tottenham, who are a mid-table average team, yeah, we don't perform well, right? We don't perform against the big boys, yeah, because he sets up so ultra negative. Against Arsenal, he had to go 4-2-3-1 at home because he had ballsed it up massively at Old Trafford the game previous, and he went, right, I'm going to have to... He was backed into a corner. He sets up 4-2-3-1. He goes Ben Rama, Bowen, Lingard, and Antonio. What a difference we was. 32 minutes, we're 3-0 up. That's the West Ham I want to see. I don't want to see my man running around backwards and forwards like a flipping idiot. Like oh, he's got high work rate. Like, what's all that about? I want my boys to go forward and attack. Do you know what I mean? I just don't get it. I don't get this hard working mentality because they should be doing that anyway.
It's overused. I think
Mark's
that's overused.
Mark's
saying
put this one. He makes an interesting assessment.
I can't
was
really
Joe
comment
Cole
on that
Ben
one
Rama
myself.
ended up
I only ever ended up seeing Fornals Joe Cole.
Was Joe Cole or Ben Rama that ended up? Yeah, through age. That's only through age. That's only like he started off at what?
Partly due to Mourinho, I think.
Well, there you go. And also, he's aged in help. Like, he can't go. Like, he ain't going to start drifting past people at 30, is he? Like 31. So he's going to set up like that, and he's going to when Joe Cole went to Liverpool, and you could probably relate to this, right? When he was at Liverpool, he was like that type of Fornals type figure. But we've got a player who's basically sitting there, and when people say he hasn't done it, and because of the work rate, I find that's ultimately offensive. What's this? What was that comment? I see that James was wrong when I was the famous. I know it's the game. Yeah, they fear, but that's why I think Benny Rama might end up leaving. Don't get me wrong, James. I like Benny playing. I agree with that. Yeah, and you're going to hear it first right now. He leaves in January. Ben Rama leaves on loan in a view to a permanent next summer. 100%. You've heard it here first.
I don't think any of us would be surprised, even if we don't, whether we want it or we don't. That absolutely would shock me.
No,
Yeah.
that's
So-
not a hammer shot.
Okay, right. Last one, Cahill. Now there was something you was going to bring up, but I think we probably covered it.
Yeah, well,
in the
we've
course of
already
this,
we've
so
gone
you've got
through that.
another one.
Yeah, I have it here. 1 second. This one is from the main man himself, Scott Venn. So it is time to
Ooh,
flog
Scott, this one's for
Antonio.
you.
We can't rely on a man to play just 10 to 12 games a season. I do agree with the 10 to 12 games a season part of it, but I can't see us flogging him. I think he's going to end his career with us. I think when he's fit, he's starting. If we're going to replace him, we need to buy someone better who's going to start ahead of him. But as long as he's at the club, he's going to, and he's sort of on the way he is whenever he's fit, he's going to have an impact. If it's off the bench, he's going to have an impact. I certainly wouldn't be getting rid of him because he's not worth getting rid of.
You say, if I can take this first, you say he's not worth getting rid of. Who's going to buy him?
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm buying him.
That's the million. Yeah, like who would buy a player who's injury prone? You'd have to be mad. Do you know what I mean?
West Ham. I think we'll take him, will we?
It's about
I think,
right.
and do you know what? I'll tell you something was funny, right? If you look at Newcastle's bench on Saturday, they had 3 strikers on the bench. 3. And we had none. And they had 2 strikers up front, and one of them was absolutely awful, scored. So, Antonio...
I don't actually think Joe Linton's that bad of a footballer. I don't think he's not a good striker. He's not a bad footballer.
Caffel, have you been on the Guinness, mate, or what? Caffel's been on the Guinness, mate. I swear. I swear, mate. You've been on that.
Give me a few
black
hours.
and white stuff.
Whoa.
I'll tell you what. I'll be real. Yeah, I spoke to a Newcastle fan, and I've done a preview with our Newcastle channel, and I spoke to them about Joe Linton, and they said he's awful. But going back to Antonio, it is a concern. I must admit. Like, this man's only played 17 games all season, 18 games all season. Rob could tell me, Rob would know, but it's like when you've got a player who sort of.
Can I just interject, because I've just had a message in the private chat, so I'm just going to give James from the Anvil a quick opportunity to say his piece, because he's got to disappear, and then we'll carry on. I'll come back to it, James.
I don't think anyone's going to take Antonio really right now because of his age and his injury record. I mean, he's just signed a new deal at West Ham. I like Antonio, but it's now become a bit predictable with him. You know, every season now he's getting injured. His hamstrings going. In fact, we had to ration him, and I keep using this. We had to ration him in from January onwards because we only had 1 fit striker, and that was him. And he's not technically even a striker in the first place. He's a winger converted striker. I don't see Antonio being picked up by anybody, but I don't think we should sell him either. That's the thing.
No, fair enough. And before you go, James, could you just give a quick plug to all your social media, your YouTube, and all the rest of it before you go?
So my channel is From the Anvil, West Ham United. Go over there for West Ham content. I do game reviews, game previews. I review media outlets. I do fan discussions. My Twitter is From the Anvil WHU. That's From the Anvil WHU. It's the same for Instagram. So go and give me a follow on both of those, and you'll get regular West Ham content. It's really good, honest.
Yeah, I'm one of his subscribers, guys. So get yourself on there.
Stop bullshitting us, James, would you?
No, I wouldn't. Would I lie to you?
James, thanks for making the time, my friend.
No worries. Have a good day, guys.
Stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
Sorry, James. Please continue.
There was 3.
No, I just like it is a problem that you got a player who spends more time in the treatment centre than he does in anywhere else, and he can't be sold because no one's going to buy him, mate. In my opinion, if they did, if someone come in with a bid and said, like, we'll buy Antonio for say 20, 25 million, I think we'd have to snap their hand off because let's be honest.
That would be just insanity, in my opinion. I love Antonio, but
but it would be, though, wouldn't it? And someone said it to me before I sort of handed it over to Caffel, right? Someone said it to me before. We missed the boat with Antonio a couple of years ago about getting rid of him. Like, even though he's been great and I love him, and he's been a top servant for West Ham, and he's going to break the Kenyo's record and all that, and I get it all, right? 100% do. But one thing with West Ham, what we don't do, every time we get rid of a player, we always go with a loss. like our sell-on value on when we sell players on, we're always losing money. Like when you look at the likes of other clubs, they seem to buy small. Leicester do it. Leicester buy players for like small amounts of money and sell them for like mega money. And we get players and we
do the opposite.
it's like
Southampton made a living off it a few years back.
That's what I'm saying. So I just look at it like the sentimental value for Antonio is great because what he does, but for me, we need, like he needs to be a backup striker, if not a third choice backup striker now, like coming to the sort of the end.
I agree with that. I think we need to sign at least one better than him, if not two. I think Tammy maybe or Ivan Toney, one of those two, sort of the 30 to 40 million range strikers. We need one of those, whichever one Moyes wants, I want. And then we need someone, if the rumours are true, that Odsonne Edwards for 8 to 12 million or something like that, because he's not worth sort of being in a grump for Celtic. If we can get someone for like that, that's also a steal, definitely worth taking. But I'd keep Antonio as long as he's able to have an impact. If it's off the bench or if it's from starting, that lad works his absolute bollocks off, and he goes 100% for every ball, even when he doesn't have to. And he somehow he's found a nick for scoring goals. I don't know where that came from. He's usually so sluggish, but he's found a way of becoming a fox in the box sort of striker. Like he is a poacher now.
Yeah, he can't be trusted really. If I'm honest, and Rob can probably vouch for this.
No, fitness wise,
you can't trust Antonio. Yeah,
no, that's the problem.
No, because it's sort of like when he comes back from injuries, it seems like it takes him a game or two to get up to speed, and then he's sort of like then he's a bit of a beast. Do you know what I mean? And we're all like, oh wow,
I don't know,
but then
he's built like a Hereford. He's just massive. He's a big boy.
But I get nervous. Watching him because I think, you know what, he's going to go, and that's.
Well, it's like when you watch Andy.
I don't even know how he did it. Yeah, I don't even know how he did it in the where he did it. Which game was it? Was it the Wolves game he did it?
Wolves.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how he did it because I've rewatched it so many times and I don't see any action there where I'm going to go like it looks like he could have pulled a muscle, but he somehow did. That's how bad it is. He just made like a normal movement and somehow it just snapped.
I've asked for the guys in the live chat to get their topics in before we wrap it up. So Alex Naismith's come in. What is going to happen with Felipe Anderson? He has barely played at Porto and the competition for places in his position at West Ham is already strong. So I'm going to start with you, Cahill.
Anyone comes in with anything over 8 to 10 million, you have to take it because you're not going to get any more. If you can't sell them, which I don't suspect we could, because why on earth would you go and buy Felipe Anderson? You'd be as mad as a brush to do something like that, especially with him on. He's a high earner as well. If no one does come in for him, just he's in the squad. Let him do training. If he impresses in training and Moyes wants to play him, play him. If he doesn't, it's the same as Porto. He's going to be on the bench. He won't be in the squads. But even if he can impress enough to just be a squad player who can come on with a bit of effect, or even if we're in Europe, can be a Euro. We'll need sort of them sort of filler players if we're going to be playing in Europe. That's the thing. It's just does he have the quality as well as the filler ability?
Yeah, James, talk to me.
I don't think he can be sold, mate. He's got no sell-on value, in my opinion. Like he's done nothing over the last year. He's only played 4 games for Porto, I believe. And let's be honest, who's going to touch him? Like maybe a loan deal somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's highly unlikely. Yet again, I say it again, who's going to touch him if someone's not been cutting it? I think put him back in the squad, get him to sort of play a few games to get his confidence up, and then maybe get rid of him in January, like on a sell him, like give him like loan with a view to a permanent in the summer of 20.
Isn't next season his last at West Ham?
His contract runs out, so you'd rather keep him. If you're not going to sell him, I'd rather have him in the squad as an extra player than just loan him out and he goes in for free. I'd rather keep him than sort of just ship him off, or unless someone's just going to take his wages, then fair play to them.
I just don't think we spoke about this before. I just don't think he's got a value. I just don't see it. Maybe in plan with like Lingard and maybe maybe it needs to be a confidence. I don't know, but I just
It's his own
if
head,
we get
though.
rid of
Rob
It's his own
makes the
head.
point here, boys. Do we need him if we get European football?
Not need,
Yeah.
but it's not a bad squad player to have if he can get firing.
I
Because
think we need
we
him,
all
mate.
remember how good he was. We all remember how good he was. But the thing is,
I think-
he was never like a sort of Lingard who was good and then off the ball running, or Fornals who sort of just is. That's what I'm trying to make. When we had a Felipe Anderson, he could show that moment of flash, but he did nothing after it.
I think we need him, mate. In my opinion, and I really do. I think our squad is bare thin as it is. Like, let's be honest. Like, if we get rid of him, like, where are we going to get another player? Like, we would need another player to replace him. And then, obviously, if you want Yarmolenko out and Lanzini out, that's 3 players. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If we get rid of the 3, we've got to replace them with 3. We can't replace them with 1 or 2. So,
I
me
agree with that,
personally,
but
I
we
think
don't
he's
have
good
them
for
now.
Europe.
We're not going to get. We're not going to get what we paid for Yarmolenko himself. No, for the 3 of them together, we're not going to get what we paid for Yarmolenko himself. That's the issue. 3 years later, or 4 years later, we're making no money on 3.
It's not just the money you're
It's
going to bring in
wages.
for the transfer fees. It's the wages that are going to be freed up.
Yarmo's on 140 a week
pot.
or something.
Yeah, he's on stupid money. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
But, he's on Dortmund money still.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think if we get European football, that it actually might mean he stays in a funny sort of way. Because I agree with James in that if we get European competition, it might be that he then becomes a bit more valuable to us in a funny sort of way. But if we don't get European football, and I think we will get European football,
We'll get
then
some
I think
form,
his
I
time
hope.
at West Ham is done. Yeah. Unless we, because have you heard this thing about the Champions League, the new format that they're bringing in, where they can basically invite
ESL Junior, you
2
mean?
teams?
Basically,
Basically,
ESL Junior.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
if I think this comes in 2024, where so if we
it's
finish
24,
in the top 4, but say a Liverpool or a Manchester United finish in the 6th place, for example, we get kicked out of the Champions League for them, in essence, which I just think
So
it
how
won't go through. It won't
How
go
do
through.
we get in the champion? How would we get in the Champions League then?
We wouldn't. We'd be booted out in favour of a heritage club. I think they refer to them as, which I just think is complete bullshit. But just my opinion. But that's exactly what this ESL essentially was, where they sort of like had, oh well, we'll have the European big hitters. So if you have a situation where a Real Madrid, a Juventus, a Manchester United doesn't qualify by virtue of their league position for one reason or another, UEFA can just turn around and go, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get rid of a Leicester City or a West Ham or an RB Leipzig or whoever, a Lille. We'll get rid of them and we'll put this team. We'll parachute this team in. I mean,
it's just
really,
wrong, mate. It's just wrong. Especially after what's happened
Yeah.
recently, but obviously that's a long story.
People were we had to support UEFA for the last few days because they were the lesser of two evils. But saying they're the lesser of two evils is they're still evil. They're still the bad guys. Like
exactly.
they're not for the kinds of us. They're for the money.
We're back onto the ESL again. I didn't want to talk about it tonight,
Yeah, I
but
know.
it all seems to sort of come back to that, doesn't it? And here's the thing. They were sort of kicking off and all the rest of it because, they weren't getting enough money out of the UEFA competitions, which is why they wanted this European Super League. And what happens?
Yeah.
UEFA turn around and go, we'll get more investment in this, that, and the other. So they got what they
And
wanted.
we'll pay you to
essentially.
go back to your league.
Yeah. So
They bribed them.
they've got what they wanted. And they'll probably get a £2.50 fine and slapped on the wrist and told not to do it again, and they'll just carry on as they were before. But you look at all the clubs that have been fined for going into and the thing that I completely understand. This is not the club in terms of its history. It's not the club, the entity. It's not Liverpool as an entity. It's not Arsenal as an entity. It's not their fans. It's not their players. It's not their management structure. It's their owners. No ifs, no buts. They're the ones that need to get the stick. But the problem is, how do you punish the owners without punishing the club? It's a bit like with the Tevez thing with us. Well, that was all to do with the board structure at West Ham doing dodgy deals and all the rest of it. Now, whether we got the punishment we should have had or shouldn't, or we, all the rest of it, now that's a different story. The punishment that we got punished the club and was to the detriment of the club, which then had an impact on the fan base. But how do you get round it?
But was Klopp right not to resign though, Rob?
Well, I think if it had carried on, I think he would have done.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think he would have done.
But it was like I said to you.
Did you see the video from Henry there?
There was a lot of players that all kicked off about it, James. And that was what I said the other night. That was the point I was trying to make. It needs to come. This thing needs to be fractured from the inside, not from the outside. The fans sort of like having a protest and all the rest of it, in my opinion, it had an impact. But I think more of the impact was the players themselves on social media and all the rest of it actually voicing their disapproval to it. But I don't think that they actually saw that coming.
You got to understand though, he's in such a like, even he said it himself, like he didn't even know nothing about it until it come out on Sunday night.
No.
So if he don't know nothing about it and he's the manager of Liverpool Football Club, then the players definitely don't know nothing about it. So,
but here's the thing: Jose got the sack because of it. Jose refused to take Spurs training. He got the sack because of it, and now the very entity that he had a problem with, that he was protesting about, within a couple of hours, has bit the dust. I mean, is he going to go back there?
Nah, but was that just a Daniel Levy? This is like even Gary Neville said it on Monday Night Football. He said, "What a perfect time to sack someone, isn't it?" Let's be honest. Like, if you're going to sack someone,
funny you say that. I'm gonna find this for you. So you guys just chat amongst yourselves for a minute. Milesy's back in the building. I've got something for you, James.
Milesy, how are you feeling?
I'm getting the shake, Brian. I had alcohol for a couple of days.
That is so seriously wrong.
Here it is.
I'll give him some that I have here, James. Right?
I think Milesy and Cahill heard this on the stream yesterday, but James, this is Jamie Redknapp.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry, hang on. Hold on. It's not. I need to turn the volume up.
I heard it was based on where they were in the league in terms of when they sacked him. So if the Spurs sacked him when he was in the top 4, I think he got 30. If they sacked him when he was in the top 6, he got a different amount. And the fact they're sacking him when he's not in the top 6 takes that down to like 4 or 5, even less than that million. So that's why Daniel's done it now, rather than wait. I mean, I don't get why he's done it during the cup final on Sunday, but they are fucking clowns there.
Jamie Redknapp, ladies and gentlemen.
Forward that onto me, Gatesy. I want to annoy one of my mates. Is Tottenham fan.
Yeah, no problem.
But no, Tottenham. I've just got this feeling. It's going to kill me inside, but I've just got this feeling on Sunday it's going to be in it. It's made for flipping Ryan Mason, isn't it, for them to flipping win it.
But the thing is that sort of like, whoever wins it out of those two, they're both part of that group. So it doesn't matter, does it? One of those fuckers is going to take away a piece of silverware. Now, I know it's the sort of like the least piece of silverware in the English domestic game,
City.
But it's still a piece of silverware. I personally, I don't think that cup final should go ahead. I think they should both be slung out and this season's null and void.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I know that won't happen because all the sponsors will kick off over it.
Yeah. But
it is. Yeah.
No,
it is what it is. But it is what it is. But
we discussed it all yesterday. We did a 3 and a bit hour stream yesterday. It was absolutely
Was you tired this morning, Gatesy?
No. I was good as gold. I was actually a bit tired this afternoon. It hit me, but well, yeah, he is. How did it go on Jakey's stream?
Yeah, no, it was good, mate. We were just giving a bit of we were just talking about some links, what we've been linked with, and our defence, like who who would play. And me and Scott said it on there as well. I've said it. Rice is going to be back on Saturday. Sorry, Rice is going to be playing.
Well, fingers
I've
crossed.
got that
Fingers crossed.
I've got that feeling. And like I said, the main one for me, mate, is Creswell. What is his 75% chance? He has to play on Saturday for us to have any chance, in my opinion. Don't know about you, James.
He ain't going to play Saturday, mate.
Don't you reckon?
I'll see it myself. Nah. Look at the pull up that he had against.
He had a late test for Newcastle though. He nearly passed it apparently. I hope so.
Alex in the chat, he's mentioning about the Conference League. Well, this is the tournament basically that's like a sort of crap version of the Europa League. I mean, for me, like I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. For me, all 12 of those clubs that signed up for this should be kicked out of European competition immediately.
2-year ban.
No ifs, no buts. Because let's put it like this, guys. They wanted their tournament because they considered UEFA's tournaments to be a pissant tournament. So they went away with, crying and sucking their thumb like a bunch of babies. They made their own tournament. And now they're with their tail between their legs thinking that they can just carry on as if nothing happened. Sorry. I just don't think that can happen.
I went on last night. I come on right on the last knock-ins, basically. And I think that they should have a 2-year ban from any European competition. I think that they should have a points deduction for next season. Because it's like, do you know what? It's the schoolyard bullies, isn't it? And you got all the rest. You got the 6 schoolyard bullies, and you got the 14 teams trying to scramble around ragged in a clump, basically. So it's just
they'll do it again.
It's just, and they will do it again because the money talks, so to speak. But I just feel that the only way you can punish them is by the pocket. Now, people have said about they should hand out free admission to games from next season, so no one pays, and just whoever turns up gets in, and that's it.
Free pint, free burger to everyone, free program.
Yeah,
because the thing is, James, how do you punish someone that's got a personal wealth of £10 billion? It's kind of difficult.
I know. It is, mate. I must admit, I will agree with you on that. The only way you can hit them really is hit them in the pocket. But like you say, like they're billionaires, so I think.
Well, I'll tell you what I would do. I think they need to do a 30-point deduction in the Premier League now, this season, because this is the season that they fucked around. So don't do it next season. This season. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I would suggest a minimum of 2, but I think I'd want to come down hard on these fuckers. So I would go 5-year ban from UEFA competitions, right? Number 3, 2-season transfer embargo. And then my fourth one would be a 10% a fine that's 10% of their club's turnover, and that money goes to NHS charities. What do you think?
I don't think that the Premier League can ban them from European competition. I might be wrong.
No, they can't, but UEFA can.
I don't think UEFA would do it, mate. If I'm being honest,
no, probably not. But I'm just saying what in my opinion, I think should happen.
I think
what's a punishment that fits the crime. It won't happen.
I'll tell you, if you're going to do it Premier League, well, you ban them from the League Cup, you ban them from the FA Cup, you give them points deductions in the league. That's from the Premier League aspect, and probably go down that route for the next 2 years. Like I just don't see how they can be affected in the European competition in this UEFA turn around and say, right, we're going to give you a transfer ban, or they're going to give you it's something that's got to be done, and they've got to be made an example of, to say, you know what, you can't do that, because that's you're basically trying to take the game away from your own fans, and that's disgusting, really. Do you know what I mean?
I don't really care. Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I didn't realise you were saying.
I just don't think that. In my opinion, I'm just glad it wasn't us in that situation, because I think it would have been very hostile, volatile, and it could have been very dangerous if someone was trying to take West Ham away from all of us.
Yeah.
See,
Marzi, your thought.
see, banning them from like Europe. I don't really care about the champ. I just want the deduction from the Premier League and like a 2 or 3 year transfer ban. That would do.
Yeah, but
that would do a
the money that they would get from Europe, Marzi. I mean, that's at least 110 million for Champions League qualification.
And that's just for
True, yeah.
qualifying.
Kick them out. You know, you got to hurt them.
True.
You've got to hurt
No,
them. Because
but if I had
this is going to happen again.
But if I had the choice, transfer ban or ban from Europe, I'd do the transfer ban personally.
I think you got to do both. I really think you got to kick these fuckers right between the legs. That's my opinion. You know.
What do you think will happen though?
Fuck all.
Fuck all.
That's
Nothing.
what I think will happen. Absolutely
Give them
fuck all.
a slap on the wrist and say,
it'll be about a
please don't do it again.
£10,000 fine. Yeah.
We can't leave. We can't let you leave. Come on, please, lads, don't do it again to us. Here's a little fine. Go on, come back to us, please.
Yeah.
Fucking pricks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to find something because I'm on a group chat and someone made a really... you're on the chat, aren't you, Malsey? Here it is.
What Hammer's chat?
Anybody that's
favoritism.
this,
Favoritism. Me and Kath were on this group chat.
Listen, don't talk to me. It's Gio, Gonzo,
It's all right,
and Charlie.
James. Don't tell them about ours.
Don't blame me.
Don't tell them about ours, James.
That's
Nothing
right,
to
mate.
do with me.
It's like
listen,
the Ben Rama crew. Ben Rama crew, your one, innit?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, one of the members on the Hammers chat addicts Patreons group wrote this: in my line of work, if someone was to prepare to commit a murder, robbery, crime of any type, puts plans in motion for it to happen, but then backs out at the last minute, they would be guilty of conspiracy to commit the offence. In terms of this, however, they have gone beyond the planning stage and have acted to carry it out, therefore would have been found guilty of committing the offence. Please tell me how this is any different. These clubs have signed off on something against UEFA, FIFA rules and then taken steps and legal proceedings to prevent FIFA from taking any penalties on them. That's more than an idea, it's a movement. And then he goes to use a word that, see you next Tuesdays. That is how he describes them. And he's right. He's absolutely right. So something needs to be done. But the truth of the matter is, it probably won't.
Can't we call MI6?
Well, that you may very well say that, Milesy. I could not possibly comment. Would we want the fans of the Six to say we was only in League Cup, etc., because they wasn't in it? But so what do we do, Rob? That's the thing.
Well,
I'm sorry. I said this. Was it last night? I said it.
What else
I said
do you do?
as my opinion on that, Gatesy.
Go on.
That anything we'd win would be tainted anyway. Like,
yeah. Well,
no. I disagree on that though.
If this season's results, say they did get kicked out for the sake of argument, and all the results of this season got expunged. I don't know if you saw it, James, but there was a table that was put out. We would be
9 points clear.
Results we expected. We'd be 9 points clear with a game in hand. We would need, at this moment in time, 4 points to become Premier League champions. Now, all my life, as I'm sure you have, and everybody else here, everybody watching, has dreamed of that, and probably never ever thought it could happen. But for a split second, I'm thinking, wow, actually, I might see this now. But not like this. Mark Noble getting handed the Premier League trophy in that set of circumstances. I take it as a West Ham fan. I could look back on it in years to come and see it on the honours board. Season 2021 Premier League champions. If it was to if it were to have happened, it obviously won't. But not like that.
No, but Gatesy, that's like Leeds for it. Whenever they were, that's like Man City. That's like Man City going into administration. They get deducted points. They get deducted that season, don't they? Or is it the following season?
No, it's the following
season. I thought
it's the following season, isn't it?
Is it?
It's halfway through the season. Yeah, because it happened to who did it happen to this year? It happened to Bolton. happened to Bolton and it happened to Sheffield Wednesday.
You remember in
Happened to Wigan last year, I think, as well. There was a Sheffield Wednesday.
Because Charlton kicked off about that because they argued that if the points deduction had happened during the season that the offence took place, if you will, then Sheffield Wednesday would have been relegated and Charlton would have survived. And they kicked off about that. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere, but
the thing is, right, the way I look at it, because we'll go back to something that you were saying about the League Cup and all that. I don't think that any fan up and down the land who's in the top 6 would be opposed them being banned from FA or League Cup after what they've done. Like a lot of the fans, they wanted them relegated. Like a lot of the fans, even like I was hearing things about Man United fans saying they want them relegated from the Premier League, right? But so I don't think that would be like. And let's be honest here, the beauty of the FA Cup, if someone like a non-league team or a League One or League Two or even a Championship team got to the final, we would still embrace it, whether it was Manchester City or Plymouth, like so to speak. So.
The only thing is, though, James, if I'm right in saying, I think the winners of the FA Cup get £6 billion. So, really, if you were going to ban them from that tournament, is that really hurting them?
Yeah, but how many, like Man City, for instance, I use Man City as an example. I think the last 3 years they've won the League Cup 3 times. So, I know it's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, you're taking a memory. Like, let's be honest, Man City's got the best squad in the Premier League, like that can compete on different levels. Now, if you take them out of it for say 5 years, you're going to see 5 different winners of the League Cup and the FA Cup. And
but would that then make it more likely that they might win the Champions League because they're not having the inconvenience and the stress of competing in the other 2 domestic tournaments?
We'd find a way for it not to be us winning as well. So feck it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can look at it like that. But you can also look at it that if they beat the team just in front of them in the Champions League, they deserve to win it. Do you know what I mean? So you can't look at it another way. I think what they've done, the top 6, and obviously I didn't really get to mention it last night, but I think it's immoral. I think it's disrespectful to the league. I think they've just every one of them clubs have turned their back on their own. Who've literally pays their bills, basically. Do you know what I mean? Them fans pay the bills, and to do what they did is it's just a lack of class, mate. And the only thing I will say on it, I'm just glad it wasn't us. I'm just glad it wasn't us because if someone said to you right now, you've got West Ham United Football Club there, but we're going to take them and put them in Portland in America.
You'd be on Dagenham polls then instead, wouldn't you, James?
Say that again, mate.
You'd be on Dagenham polls. You wouldn't be on Hammers polls if we
Dagenham polls, mate. I'll be down Stratford.
that would be the end of the club for me, James. That would be that would be me going. That was the death of West Ham United. We came pretty close to it with the move, but the club carried on. Blah blah blah.
But how would you feel though, Rob?
That was the death of West Ham.
That would be like a death in the family, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Like, to me, it would be like a death in the family.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. It would literally be, like a close relative.
Sorry. So, I see what you mean now, Gatesy. I'm reading these things, and that's what they're saying. Because Wigan got a 12-point deduction, and they didn't. They didn't give it. That's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a list of 24 clubs. The thing that's been going around Twitter with people asking to retweet and copy and all that. There's 24 clubs on it.
Carol, read it out. Because there might be people watching that haven't got the foggiest. So we're here to inform as well as entertain. So,
okay. So these have all been deducted points since 2004, and they're asking to retweet it. So Bolton, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, Coventry, Luton, Crawley, Darlington, Halifax, Plymouth, Port Vale, Portsmouth, Rotherham, Stockport, Wigan, Wrexham, Aldershot, Boston, Bury, Cambridge, and Chester.
There's none of them 6 amongst that. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, there's one up there that when you read them out, well, 2 I would say, even though they are all big clubs in their own right, is Leeds and Portsmouth. They're both. I think Portsmouth was when their owners decided to go into administration because they couldn't fund it. And I think I'm not sure what happened with the Leeds one. I'm not sure what happened with the Leeds one, but
Leeds were
that was in
administration
Leeds.
as well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that was in
Macclesfield-
League One. That was in League One.
Macclesfield got 17-point deduction.
Yeah, but what it was, they had a winding up order.
Yeah.
They had to cease trading, and
They
the thing
they
is, this
try
is the
kill the
problem
bloody
now.
game, like.
Yeah, but yeah, again, isn't it?
There you
It's
go,
just,
Molesy. I've got that up, mate.
Yeah, no, it's mad, isn't it? It's listed all of
Yeah.
them.
Sheffield Wednesday, Wigan, 12 points.
They got it down
Macclesfield,
to
17.
yeah, Macclesfield went
Bolton
down.
Wanderers, 12. Bury, 12. Birmingham, 9.
Another one,
Brentford,
yeah.
3. Rotherham, 3. Coventry,
What was the
10.
What was the 3 point
Wimbledon,
ones for?
3.
Brentford. They
what
didn't
was
play a game.
Ineligible players.
Yeah,
You got it in that one, yeah. Coventry, 10. Portsmouth, 10. Aldershot, 10. Portsmouth, 10. Port Vale, 10. Plymouth Argyle, 10.
So
Hereford,
you
3.
get 10 points deducted for going into administration. Why don't they get 10 points for each 14 clubs in the Premier League, then 24 clubs in the Championship, however many keep going? 10 points for each one of them they were trying to fucking put in administration.
This is the
30
real heavy one.
points.
In 2008-9, that was Luton. I remember that. They were deducted 30 points for a breach of insolvency rules and misconduct. And, you know, they started the season on minus 30 points. Look, there's the, was it minus?
Yeah.
No, that was after 2 games played. So look at that. They played 2 games.
It's only
they
Luton
won
anyway.
1,
Like
and they
that's
were
what
on
that's all
minus
they'll be thinking.
27. So they were on minus 30 at the beginning of the season. Before a ball was kicked, they were on minus 30.
Oh,
so they've got to win 10 games just to get to 0.
That's a heavy points.
That's what they get for Paul Young.
And they went down. And they went down.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, you're as good as.
So if
let's
they
be
don't
honest,
get...
here, you're as good as relegated, ain't you? Yeah, like 30 points.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah.
chance of getting that.
Massively.
I mean,
Massively. But
there
you go.
It's terrible.
Gatesy, you can put it in the chat, or otherwise I've got Signing Future. Put that link in the chat. People might want to read it. There's tons of it on there.
Okay. Bear with me. I shall do that. Copy.
Andy, reading that's
And
just
for
going to
you
piss us
guys
off
that
more
are
when
in
they do
the-
nothing to them. That's the fucking problem.
Well, anyone wants some night reading.
Yeah, the link's in the chat. I've just popped it out there. Since the start of the Premier League in '92, Leicester and Blackburn have won the Premier League, yet Spurs haven't, and are classed as top 6. Yeah, can't disagree. And then you got the other point that he makes. The media needs to stop naming them the top 6. It's subjective. Tottenham, City, Arsenal never won a Champions League, yet Forest and Villa have. Yeah. I mean, but they're the top 6 on the basis of their financial firepower, in terms of their fan base, in terms of their viewing figures. I
The
can't
game's not
argue
based
with
off
that.
your
really
your bank
can't,
record
but-
though. The game's based off your playing record, and they don't have it.
Yeah.
Now,
well,
what it is,
2 of those clubs definitely don't.
the problem is, it's what people are viewed to be seen as entertaining football.
Yeah.
Like when they look at, but then, Joe, what I put something on my Twitter feed, and I see someone put it on there. Out of the big 6, there's been 4 0-0s. Man United, Chelsea, Man United, Man City,
They're
Liverpool.
the worst games. They get hyped to absolute shite on Sky Sports, and they are dreadful. They're awful games.
I'm just going to ask Tony, because Tony's put in the chat this comment, and I listen, Tony, trust me, I don't blame the supporters. I don't blame the players. I don't blame the managers.
respect the supporters,
I
because
don't
they're the ones who
blame
went out and
the
did
club
stuff.
in terms of their history, them as an entity. I completely and totally agree with you. It is down to the owners. Problem: how do you punish the owners without punishing the club? Again, I'll say it again. In 2007, West Ham's management board, whatever, fucked up when they signed Tevez and Mascherano, and we had to pay a price. And you've seen that list there of all these clubs that have gone into administration because the people at the top, the managing directors, the chairman, the club secretaries, have all fucked up because they've mismanaged the club. and the club goes into administration, they get a 10-point deduction, 20, or in the case of Luton, a 30-point deduction. It's the players that suffer. It's the supporters that suffer. But it's the people at the top of the club that have fucked it up. How can you separate them off? I don't have an answer.
I don't think that the supporters of them clubs will be down in the dumps.
They can't riot with it. It's like they're the ones who are rioting when their clubs join it. They can't riot when if they get their due justice. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, because they was prepared to ruin. You got to understand that they was prepared.
What's that League Cup thing?
That was around about 98, I think it was. We played a League Cup game at
Manny
Park
or the Becky.
Aston. It was against Aston Villa. I was there. We drew 2-2 after extra time.
Yeah, I remember that.
A penalty shootout, and we won it. And then about a day later, I'm hearing reports that the game could be replayed or we could be kicked out, this, that, and the other. And it centered on a player that we brought on. His name was Manny Onayinmi. Now, he came on as a substitute. He ran around for a little bit. He didn't have any real influence on the game. He didn't provide an assist.
Pablo Fornell's part 2, it was.
Yeah. He didn't have any fundamental impact on the game. But the moment he set foot on the pitch, we'd breached the rules of the competition because he'd played in an earlier round for Oxford. And our then club secretary, who was a guy called Graham McCrell, he forgot. And so did the player. He just wandered onto the pitch, ran around for a bit. We got to the penalty shootout. We won it. Got through, and I think we were down to play Leicester in the semi-finals. We got to the last 4. Great. And it was like touch and go whether we were going to get kicked out. We replayed it, and in typical West Ham fashion, we lost 3-1. And that was that. That. So, but he's right. There's so many, inconsistencies. We've got Tony back in the chat. Said supporters will get abuse. I was running to that, mate. Yeah, okay, fair enough, mate. Not a problem, Tone. As I say, I do feel sorry for the supporters. And I'll be straight. I've given my wife a little bit of clog. She's a Tottenham fan, as most of you probably know. So we've had a little bit of sparring and all the rest of it, and I've said my piece. But deep down, I've got to be honest.
I said they're a disgrace. They're a disgrace. Even she is supporting them.
The owners absolutely are. Yeah. The owners absolutely are.
Do you know what I think? The only way that it can change, in my opinion, is if government bring in a rule to say that they do the scheme like they do in Germany. Sorry, they do the 51% of the club has to be owned by the fans, and they'd have to bring that into effect from next season. So basically, they have like supporters. It can be. They want to make it easy. It's like at the end of the day,
but you might be right.
At the end of the day, I think if they bring that in, then people have got control of their own club. Basically, they're not people who are wanting to just earn millions out of it. And I use it as an example. Yeah.
Cheers, Simon. Thanks for letting me know. But here's the thing. Right. And I agree with you. I absolutely think that fans group needs to get more involved in the running of clubs. But Chelsea, they're worth about 2 billion, so I understand. So if you're going to take 51% of the equity in Chelsea Football Club and plonk it into a supporter group, you're going to take it off of Roman Abramovich. You're going to take 51% of what he owns off of him and say, we'll have that. And you're going to give it to a supporter group. They've got to come up with the best part of £1 billion. How's that going to happen?
You just have a massive consortium, don't you? Like, let's be honest. If you had 100,000 people, Chelsea.
But we're in a pandemic. That's the only thing, isn't it? We're in a pandemic.
You've still got some digestive, Gatesy.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, Gatesy.
No, I haven't.
Right, the thing is, you've got to look at it another way and all. But you can always get round it. I know we're in a pandemic, but Chelsea, I use Chelsea as an example, as you say, Chelsea do have famous people who support the club. So, and there is people like ex-players. I'll tell you what, I use Man United as an example. It's a better analogy. Okay. Gary Neville, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, people like that. So you can do it and you can go around it, like, because what it is,
Yeah.
I know you said about Chelsea's worth 2 billion or whatever it is. The fans made
So I
Chelsea.
believe.
Yeah, like the
Oh, yeah.
fans started the club.
Fans
So
made every single club that's ever been.
that's what I'm saying. And as the old sort of saying goes, yeah, the team's nothing without its fans. If you take the fans away, you all you've got is 11 lads having a kick about. So
Yep.
do you know what I mean? So
The problem is it's
you've
now
got
a
to give the
business, isn't
fans
it?
a bit
It's
of,
not solely a sport. That's the problem. When these clubs were all formed, it was purely a sporting entity. Now it's a business and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
yeah, but I think that's where it's got to change, though, mate. Isn't it? That's what it is. I understand.
Can it?
I don't think it can. I think it's gone well
That's
beyond
the
that
problem.
now. And
Yeah, I don't think it's going to change.
I just think you've got to give the fans, like the fans have got to have a bit of a power. Like you see what the fans have done. Like people say the fans didn't do a lot, but the media done it, the ex-players done it, the fans done it. Like you see the Chelsea fans outside the ground yesterday. Now, if they hadn't pulled out when they did, would they have stormed? Would they have got through the police barricade and tried to get into the ground and stop them? Because you've got to understand, like to some people, I know I'm going a little bit of a rant here, but some people it's their life. Like it's like not saying I followed West Ham all my life. I've been born into it. I've got family from the area, and it's been a sort of ever-present thing for me, right, so to speak. So to take that one thing that you've been grown up with and you've had, it's like a young child, seeing your child grow and then all of a sudden it's gone, like, or a family member gone. And when you take that sort of football away from someone and say, right, we're going to make it a franchise now, and it's going to be like a commercial franchise.
Please don't use that F word, James. It makes my skin crawl when I hear about it. When people talk about football clubs. Do you know what? That was the red flag years ago when Malcolm Glazer. When Malcolm Glazer walked in at Manchester United, I heard one of his first interviews that he did about it, and he actually described Manchester United as a tremendous sporting franchise, and that one word was a massive red flag to me. I was like, they haven't got a fucking clue about this game of ours, and it is our game.
Yeah.
So,
it's terrible,
you know.
And I just, it's in one way, this ain't this is the start of something now, and I just hope that they can nip it in the bud before something else happens urgently.
Yeah. Right, we're going to wrap it up. Before we do, James, I'm going to give you the opportunity, if you should so choose, to give your Hammers Polls YouTube channel a plug. Go.
Well, nice one, mate. Yeah, I do Hammers Polls on YouTube. I do a couple of shows on there, View from the Sidelines, Back to the Bowling series. So there is my Twitter somewhere along there. That's it, like at the screen. There you go. Yeah, and basically follow me on there. I do some good stuff on there. And what I do a bit what Rob does here, but I like to get people on from different walks of life and talk about West Ham mainly.
I've got to come and do my bowling. We was meant to do it on Monday. We'll have to schedule it in.
Yeah, I know. It's just been a mad 4 day or 3 days where it's just I at one stage I thought we was losing the beautiful game basically. But follow me on Hammers Polls. Subscribe if you're new. It helps me greatly. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Before we wrap it up and I say my goodbyes, gentlemen, my last little thing for those of you watching, either live or on delay, this is an appeal for your help. There is a 6-year-old girl that has a very serious battle ahead of her. Her name is Isla Caton. She is suffering from neuroblastoma. This is a cancer that is really rare, really aggressive, tends to afflict children. Ain't no treatment for this in this country, ladies and gentlemen. If you're thinking she can just rock up at a local NHS and get some treatment, she can't. It's not happening. So her family have got to stop what they're doing in the middle of a global pandemic, and with all of the other things that their other commitments, their job, the rest of their family, they got to take this little girl to wherever in the world to get the treatment to save her life. Now, they got to pay for the treatment. They got to pay for the flights. They got to pay for the accommodation, the living costs. The bills are still coming in the UK. That doesn't stop. All of this, guys, they need our help. It's really simple. So on that banner in front of you is a PayPal and a Just Giving page. We are asking you, we at Fulsham Island, but the wider West Ham community, YouTube community. So Hammers Polls, From the Anvil, everyone. West Ham Online, Jakey, he's, we're all behind this campaign. So whatever you guys can give, if it's £1, if it's £100, whatever it is, this is where we want you to put it. Whether you can, whether you can't donate, even if you can't donate, you can help by taking this information right here. And it is in the description below our video. You can take that, put it onto your social media, put it onto your WhatsApp, send it to everyone. Pester your friends, pester your family, pester your workmates. In fact, send it to people you can't even stand. Just everyone. Let them all know, because I'm telling you guys, every single day that goes past with this little girl where she don't get the treatment she needs, this is getting really serious now. So we need to try and get this a happy ending. And for those of you that watched the end of the stream yesterday, you'll know why it's got a particular sort of place in my life, why I want to try and do right by this. So I'll tell you now. I've got a friend who lost his 9-year-old daughter to this very illness. She fought it for 5 years. That didn't have a happy ending, I'm afraid to say. So I don't want it to happen again. So it's personal. That's the reason why I do this. That's the reason why I'm quite evangelical about it. So thank you very much for bearing with me.
50 quid from me last night. Another 50 quid when we get to for the thing.
I
And
put
don't
25
forget, guys,
in this morning.
For those of you that are watching that haven't already subscribed, please do, because if we get to 300 subscribers by the end of the month, not only have I got to dress as a female cartoon hippo, Gloria from Madagascar, and prance around and make a complete prat of myself, and you will get pictures of it. So, please do. But
live video, I'm on my way.
There's a minimum that I'm aware of 300 quid that's going into this very appeal. So, if you, as I say, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Your support is very much needed and appreciated. And in fact, tell all of your friends, West Ham fans, football fans, we're not even interested whether they're fans of sport in particular. Just get them to subscribe. If they never watch a stream, whatever, just get them to subscribe. Get us to 300 and we'll bugger off and leave them to it. So, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. So I'd like to thank you for coming back, Mr. Andy Miles.
Thank you, mate.
Mr. James Fever.
Thank you, mate.
And Mr. Cahill McKernan.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks for joining us,
See you
ladies
tomorrow.
and gentlemen.
See you tomorrow.
Come on, you irons.